Good afternoon, everybody. It's David Perlmutter from Quantum Listing, and thank you for joining us today on our webinar about the ultimate guide to our new features from 2020. Uh, so let's jump right into it. Here is our agenda today. First, we're going to, for those of you that are new to Quantum Listing, tell you a little bit about what we offer, and then we'll dive right into our topic and go over the new features very briefly, uh, uh, just talking about it, and then we'll go visit the website and look at them. And then Julia, who is with us today, is our customer success manager, and she is going to talk about uh, some of our tips and ideas that we cooked up in 2020 and some of the notable events from last year. So let's get started. So, by the way, we are recording today's webinar, so we will send it out at its in the next day or so. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box, or as near the end, we'll open it up to questions in general. So, uh, thank you again for being here, and uh, let me tell you a little bit about Quantum Listing. So Quantum Listing gives your listings maximum exposure by offering a range of features so you can market your properties without breaking your budget. You can post an unlimited number of listings with the ability to market them seamlessly on all forms of popular social media. And even better, there's no paywall for potential buyers or tenants to view your properties on our site. Uh, so I guess we'll talk about them as and show you them as we go along here. I guess that's a better way to do this. Uh, so let me switch over to the website. And oh, hold on a second. Let me do that again. Uh, Sorry about that. And all right, so sorry. There we go. Okay. All right. So this, what you're going to see in a moment is the Quantum Listing profile page for my brokerage business. Like most of you, I am a commercial real estate broker in addition to having started Quantum Listing, and have been in the brokerage business since 1986. So uh, Quantum Listing is not just an idea I cooked up, it's a tool that I use absolutely every single day. And as we grow with the site and we talk to you, our wonderful members, we get all sorts of ideas for new things to do. And a lot of the features that you'll see today came out of requests that we got in conversations with you. So keep it up. You guys are great. And if you have any ideas, be sure to share them with us, and we'll try to implement them. All right. So one of the things about Quantum Listing is there's you can post as many listings as you want for the same price, and posting the listings is great, but we want to make sure that as many people as possible get to see them. And so we're always cooking up new ideas on how to increase that. And some of them are included with your membership, and some of them are premium services. So we'll look at those today one by one. So one of the first things one of the things that we added in late 2020 was a deluxe listing promotion package. And this was a done out of desire to make it a little simpler for you to promote your listings and not have to uh, spend as much time in figuring out what you wanted to do. So actually, let me go back. So to get to your profile page, you click on the little icon here in the top right corner, and to see all the marketing options, you click on this link here where it says Go to Payments and Marketing Center. And then the bundled marketing package is here at the top. You click on that, and it combines several of our a couple of our features. So with the bundled package, you can get an email blast and a month of listing promotions, plus also run the Google Display Network ad for your listing. So an email blast, fairly self-explanatory. In this case, we're sending it to both our membership as well as our marketing list. And it will vary in size from state to state, depending on how many members and contacts we have in that state. Listing promotion is something that allows your listing to show up at the top of searches in its market when people are visiting the site and searching for listings. And the Google Display Network ads are a feature fairly unique to us, where you can get your listing shown on the websites that your potential customers are already browsing and using. So,
Matt, question.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. This is Judith. The 1 month, 50 or 75 or even 125, what does it mean 1 month? One time per that listing per month, or multiple times? What does that mean?
Good question, Judith, and thanks for asking, and Happy New Year, by the way. So 1 month, the month is really in regard to the amount of time that the listing promotion will run. The email blast is, a one-off. We'll talk a little bit later about email blast packages that we introduced last year as well. And the Google ads are for the difference between the $25, $50, and $100 ads and the $50, $75, $125 marketing packages are simply that the amount of time that the Google ad will run. It's budgeted to spend about $4 or $5 a day. So if you spend $25, it'll run for 4 or 5 days, and $100 it can run for a few weeks. And that is the difference. Does that answer the question, Judith?
Oh yeah, thank you. I think that does.
So in order to start one of these bundles, you click Create Order, and then you start typing in the name of your listing, and it will search for it and find it. And once it shows up, you click on the listing and make sure that the green radio button here is lit up. And by default, it shows in the community where your listing is located. You can, by clicking over here, add either a second location, or you can X out of the town where your listing is and instead type in 2 other places. So say I wanted to show up in Mount Kisco, New York, I could do that. And then I can also have it show in, Mount Kisco. And then I can do that again and have it show in another location. And then it'll take you, once you hit enter, it takes you to PayPal, and you finish your transaction on PayPal. So that covers the marketing package bundles. Then the next thing we wanted to talk about today was the email blast feature. So one of the things, before we talk about the email blast that we can send on your behalf. Let me just quickly show you how you can do it yourself and save some money if you want by going to one of your listing detail pages. You go and then click on the sharing icon, which is this red button here, and click email. And if you just want to send it to one or two people, you can type in their email addresses separated by commas. You add a subject line and then a message, a brief message, and you'll get and then when you're all ready, you click send. And the email that your recipients, I know it's a little grayed out here because hasn't been sent yet. Your recipients will get a nice full color version of this with a link to go to your listing on our website. So that's one way you can do it, and that's great for sending it to a couple of people. But if you want to send it to more people than that, you can click this add file button and go to select a CSV or Excel file from your computer. And that file, all it needs to have is a single column with email addresses in it. So once you click add file, it takes you to look for a file from your computer. You click open, and then you can see that that file is there. Same thing where you add a subject line and a marketing message, and then you click send. I think there's a limit to about 400 emails that you can send at a single time with that. So just be aware of that. But and it goes out right away. It comes out from your email address, so you get all the responses to it, and it really is great. So in order to expand on that, what we then came up with, and it was really just because people are asking, can we send emails on their behalf, and we like to accommodate our customers. We added our email blast packages. So again, you go to the Marketing Center, click on email blasts, and with your annual membership fee, we will send one email blast to your market gratis, on us. But if you want to send more, and to do that, you just get in touch with us and tell us which listing you want and which market you want it sent in, and which is your state, and we'll take care of the rest. For an email blast package, you can choose, after your one complimentary email, either one email, 5 emails, or 12 emails. And if you're sending 5 or 12, you don't need to send them all of the same email. We'll work with you to make sure it is, works with you. Because if you're sending out 12 emails, you might, be sending that, you'll send them out once a month for a year. If you sell or release your listing, then you won't need to send it for that listing, and so you can just transfer the remaining email blasts to another listing in your portfolio. So this works very similarly to the last feature, the bundle, where you click create the order, you start typing in the name of the listing, and you select the one that you want to send. And if you wanted to, you could add the subject line and text for the body of the email here if you want, or our team will get in touch with you otherwise. And if you, once you're done, you hit create order, it takes you to PayPal, and that is how you create that email blast order.
Can I add one thing, David, on the email blast orders?
Sure.
We had a great question last week, which was, what do I do if I want to send out the email to with more than one listing? And you're not locked into having it with one listing. So If you chose one of the higher packages with like 5 emails, you can tell us which listing you want it to send to, because someone said, what if I sell this listing? I don't want to be blasting it out again. So don't worry about that aspect. We're very understanding, and we want to do what's best for you guys. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you. So, email is certainly a very effective way of marketing stuff. And that's why we all are inundated with emails and on a daily basis, because it works. I think there have been studies by MailChimp that says that email has a 38-time return on investment. So for every dollar you spend on email, you get $38 in return. So obviously it's not instantaneous, but over time. So just dial your expectations to be realistic about that it's not instant. But again, it's a very effective way of reaching people. So we wanted to consider how another way that you could get your listings into the hands of prospects. And so we came up with the idea that you could email a link to your profile page instead of an individual listing. And so to access that feature, over here on your profile page below your name, there's another version of the sharing icon. It's the 3 dots with the 2 lines connecting them. So you click on that and then click on email, and you can see here that you can also share them to your social networks. So you click on the sharing icon, you enter the email address to which you want to send it, and you add your message. Okay, and what happened to my cursor? There it is. Okay, and type in, so it's the subject line, and then you type something like, have a look at our listings in New York and New Jersey. I would write something a little more thoughtful if I were really sending this out. And you can, just as with the individual emails, you can send this to one person, a couple of people, by putting commas between the email addresses, or you can also send it to a CSV file by clicking Add File, a CSV or Excel file. And then you just hit send, and you're off to the races. And they'll get an email that says, has a link to your profile where they'll be able to click on it and go see all of your wonderful listings. So that covers that profile blast. So I'm going to just pause for a moment and see if anybody has any questions about, further questions about the listing promotion bundled package, the email blast packages, or the email blast of your profile. And just either unmute yourself or put them in the chat if you want.
So the last feature that you showed, that little V with the dots and lines, and the pop-ups that come out there, there's no extra charge for those, the email, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the Twitter, there's no extra charge for that?
Thank you. Excellent question. There is no extra charge for that. And one of the first of all, email is great because it gets your message. You can control who's getting your message. LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter are really, I think, important places to share your listings. And we get traffic from all 3 of those sites. So I know that is true. And when you do add your listings, we queue them up to send, but for Twitter goes out right away. But LinkedIn and Facebook, it can be weeks and weeks, if not a few months, just because of the limits on the number of posts we can do on a daily basis on those platforms. So it's, really incumbent on you to take charge and, either share your profile or individual listings or both to your business social media so that they go out on a timely basis. If you tag us on them, we'll get notified and we'll share them on our page also, so you get a little extra juice out of them that way. And of course, that is included as well. And if anybody doesn't recognize this icon, it is not a social media platform. It is for iframes, and this allows you to share your profile to your website or your blog, and all your listings get updated on your website in real time as you update them on QuantumListing. And that's another feature, by the way, that is included with your membership. I know other sites charge a lot of money for that, but we want you to have that as part of your membership.
Okay, so that feature goes in both directions. If there's an updating on your website, it automatically goes to our website. If we do an updating on our website, it automatically goes to our profile on your website.
That does not happen. That you have to update the thing here for it to go there. We haven't figured out how to do it when you change things on your website to get it back to ours. So.
Okay. So with the paid feature is, and I'm sure you said it, but with so much, how you go back, does the email go out to a database that you already have of all of the subscribers to QuantumListing, or it only goes out to whatever email addresses the subscriber would put in?
Okay, so there are two different, if you for this here, this would only be to the people that you want to send it to. But if you're
No, I don't mean the one you showed earlier, the plans, the 50.
So that would be to our list. And if you wanted to have us include your proprietary list when we send it out the email blast, we're happy to do that. We did that for one of our members just last week, and we treat your lists like your personal property. So if you send us a list and ask us to send it on your behalf with the rest of it, rest assured that we're not going to incorporate those in our marketing in the future. It's your list and only you have the rights to it. So
thank you.
Yeah, and Judith, just a quick note about what David just mentioned. So his example, this user, we sent it out on his behalf to his list, and then he told us that he did get a lead and he was excited about that, but that he wanted to expand the list and send it to more people. So just this afternoon, we had him, take advantage of his one free email blast that's included in membership, and we're excited to see the results and then go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you, Julia. All right, so the next thing we wanted to talk about today is the haves and wants groups. So prior to 2020, our haves and wants groups were just wants groups. So and the idea is that if you had a requirement and you wanted to sort of crowdsource it with our members, say you needed a restaurant in Mohegan Lake, New York, for one of your customers and you couldn't find it, you might put a request into your QuantumListing group, which is accessible from your profile page here on the groups menu. And so you would click on groups, expand the menu, click on my groups, and then you would find your group. I belong to a lot of groups, not a surprise, I guess. So you pick the group that you want to send it to, and then you would either click enter the group chat here by clicking the speech bubble. And
like David said, most of you will only have 1 or 2 groups, so don't be alarmed by this. It's just because David's involved in everything.
So, you click on this GoToMeeting has slowed that down a little. Let me try this with Firefox. Sometimes that works a little faster. Uh, what's going on here? Okay. Or of course, it could be that my kids are streaming something on a TV, or or in a more benign reading of that, they could be in class right now and doing their class. So let's see if what happened. All right. Well, sorry about the delay here. So anyway, what it happens with that is, let's go back to this. All right, it worked. All right, so I guess the watched pot never boils. So you start typing in your message here and say, I'm looking for 1,500 square feet of retail in Norwalk, Connecticut. And please let me know if you have something. So anybody in your group will get a notification by email either later that day or the next morning, and it will have a link to come look at the chat, and if they have a response, hopefully they'll get in touch with you. All right, so then that will show up here, and again, I apologize for the delay here, but it's just a bandwidth issue. So that's how you would do that. Here it goes. Here's one of my other messages. So, and this actually is a good segue, this message here, for something else so what we did in 2020 is we rebranded the wants groups into haves and wants groups, because we realized that real estate is a two-sided marketplace, and it's we can use this way of communicating not only what you're looking for, but just give you another way to market your properties and have it be included with your membership. So what you see here is a message I added earlier today for one of my listings, and I just copied and pasted the description from the listing here, and then I added the URL, the link from the listing on the top here, and it is now a live hyperlink. So, and again, people will get the notification that this message is waiting for them, and it will. There's my other message, by the way, that finally came through. So, this will then generate. By clicking on the link, it'll go to my listing, and it's included with your membership. It's fast, it's easy, and one of the other neat things about our groups is if you have colleagues that are on QuantumListing, you can form your own group with you and your colleagues. And if you have colleagues that aren't on QuantumListing that you think would benefit from it, as well as you benefiting from their being on QuantumListing, because you'll be able to use these kind of neat features to send them your listings without sending them lots of emails, or even you just never know where you're going to get somebody's attention. So being able to send it an email and then also being able to send it here and sending it to social media, you're really covering a lot of different bases, and you're increasing the chances that people will see your marketing message. So we're having a little slowness issues here. I apologize for that. So let's go back a little further. All right, and here's that listing, by the way, in Mohegan Lake that don't know what's going on there, sorry. All right, so let's go back and all right, so next up on our hit parade is, hold on, I lost my place here with being distracted by that. Okay, so next, after being able to share your wants and your haves on our chat, we thought about it a little bit more and said, you know what if you could post a listing for your wants just like you can for your listings? This way, it's a searchable thing on our website. There's a good chance that it will get indexed by search engines. It might even show up on in Google searches for them. So we made it so that you can post once, and it's a very simple process to do that. And I was going. Sorry, let's try this. Okay, so you can see here, I posted earlier today a want for a real use that I have, and I said wanted. I'll click on it so we can go see it. And I have met with somebody on Monday who was looking for a place for a smoke shop, and I showed him one place, and it wasn't right for him. So instead, I will continue to search for other locations for him, but in case any brokers in the area were on the site, they'll be able to see this. And if you see, this one is for Norwalk, Connecticut, so I'm going to click on Norwalk. See if I can. And this is, sorry about the slowness here. But anyway, what happens is that this will show up in searches in that market, just like any listing would. And you can, search, nationwide for wanted things. It doesn't have to just be in a particular market. You can really search anywhere. And it shows up on the first page of our listings when you're right after you've added it, and like every other listing on our site, as more listings are added, your listing sort of slides down the page and onto the next page eventually, so that you can, but you can use our site to send you to promote the listing so that you can have it show up when people are searching in the market where you're looking for the space. If somebody types in Norwalk, your want ads or your wanteds are going to show up just like your listings would show up and at the top of that search, because it's a promoted listing. And that's $250 a week or $7.50 a month. So certainly very doable for just about anybody.
So David, the wanted stamp is part of the template, or does the subscriber have to create that image or some sort of image?
Great question, Judith. And so that is part of the template. So you don't have, all you have to do is add the subject line, the asset class and the type of transaction, the size of the requirement, and the location. And once you've done that, it's all good and you're ready to hit enter and show. So you don't have to add any images or anything like that for the wanted ads.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Keep those questions coming though, because they're great and they really clarify the points here. So one of the things we also added in 2020 is a tour of your profile page. So I'm going to show you that next. Hold on. Let's get rid of this error message here. Hold on. Wait, wrong one, I think. Let's see. Oh. I'm just. All right, so what the tour of the profile page, again, we're having some technical difficulties today. So what happens is that the first time you log into the site, so for those of you that are veterans, you won't see it. It takes you on a tour of the different parts of your profile page. So it'll show you where the link is up here to edit your profile. It will show you the marketing center, and then it'll take you through the different aspects of the menu here on the left-hand sidebar. So they're all things that will hopefully help you. And again, that's something that is really more for the people that are new to our site. So then another thing that we added in 2020 was the copy profile link button right here. And so what this will do is it will copy the link to the URL of your QuantumListing profile to your clipboard, and then you can use it in your email signature, or you can send it in a text message to somebody, or in an email to somebody, or use it however you want. I'm sure you are more creative than I am and can think of lots of good ways to do that, and that would help with that. So that was nothing. And then the last thing that we did, and I'm going to throw it over to Julia. Maybe her computer is working a little more smoothly than mine. And we updated the homepage of our website to make it a little more streamlined and user-friendly, and put the focus on searches so that visitors to our website can hopefully get to you and your listings really fast. So Julia, take it away and tell us more about some of the new tips and ideas that we cooked up in 2020.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just gonna take the screen 1 second. Let's see.
While Julia's coming on, the link that you have here, because I know that your listings can be transferred or from here posted on one's own website. Can you also do that with a link to your QuantumListing profile?
Yes. Yeah. So and this is the iframe code, and when you're adding the listing or your profile to your website, you really don't have to do anything. Sometimes you see that the height of the thing is 2,500 pixels. if you see that it is too much white space underneath the frame, or not enough space so you can't see everything without scrolling, you can just adjust this number till you get to one that works for you. And by adjusting, I mean you can type 1700 instead, and then you just copy and paste this. If you do your website yourself, it's pretty easy. If if you have a designer or a coder doing it for you, they'll be really happy that it's that simple. So it shouldn't be too hard for anybody.
All right, can you guys see my screen as well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so as David mentioned, thanks David so much for going through all the features. We were pretty excited to add so many features last year, and like he said, so many of these features come from conversations just like we're having right now with our members. So we really appreciate you guys. So a few of the kind of new tips, and they're also ideas, David just mentioned adding your profile link to your email signature. That would be the first tip that we, and by the way, this is actually, I don't want to give away David's spoiler, but everything we're talking about today is on a blog post that we're going to share with you guys if you haven't already seen it. So definitely stay tuned for that, because we called it a guide, we want to make sure you have a real guide, and that guide will be the blog post at the end. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you. But so, like you said, the email signature, that's a really easy way just to bring all of your prospective clients right back to your Quantum Listing profile page. The great thing is that when they go to your page, they're not just seeing your name and your contact info, but they're also seeing all of your listings, and as David already mentioned, your social media pages, and hopefully your bio if you added that as well. The second tip that I have highlighted here, it's called Help Google Find You and Your Listings. This is something we are so excited about that we had a webinar about it last week, and we plan on having another webinar about it very soon. So David is really I'm not going to take credit for it, because David is really the ideas behind this, but one of our users came to us, and his listing, the title of the listing was the address of his listing, and it was showing up on Google searches very easily when you search the address. But he said, I really want my listing to also show up when people are searching for example, it was in I believe it was in Greenwich, Connecticut, and it was on Greenwich Ave, and he wanted it to show up when people searched Greenwich Avenue retail in Greenwich, Connecticut. So we made a small suggestion to him, which was just to add another listing with the title of what he expects people to be searching. So I think, David, I forget what you call it, but it's something kind of like, try to be in the eyes of your future prospect. So what would your future prospect be searching in Google? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Natural language search, or also long tail keywords and other thing, where you're basically putting yourself in the mind of your searcher and thinking about what it is that they would be typing in, or and to find what it is that they're looking for. And the some of the a lot of the searches now, when people have their phones particularly, they're clicking the microphone, and so they're saying out loud to their phone, how do I find me office space in White Plains, New York. And so as you can see on the screen here, this is a medical condo for sale in Stamford, and it showed up right at the top of the search, and because the guy titled it medical condo for sale. So this really works. It takes about, we've been sort of playing with this a little bit more, and it takes about a week for the search engines to index it and re-rank it. But when I've been doing this with my own listings since I did this, and it's been really, really effective in getting on that first page of Google searches. So
yeah, absolutely. We were blown away last week when the example I was just citing, when it worked. It wasn't that we were surprised, but it was just so it was so great to see it work exactly like what we thought it would. So we're excited for that to continue. So then the third tip is really, it's something that I think we've told to our members a lot, but we just want to make sure we emphasize it because we can't emphasize it enough, is the listing pictures. So first of all, it's okay if you don't have a professional photographer or professional camera, but even having iPhone pictures that you have, high quality, it's so important. We see it on the number of clicks when we're, analyzing what listings get more clicks. Every time we see the difference with listings with better images. With that being said, if you are a build out member, we have a large amount of people who send us their listings from build out, and we are very grateful for that partnership. Sometimes the listing images don't come through correctly, which just means that you didn't check off the box from build out, and it's a very, very simple fix, and we're always happy to help you with it. But it's something to if you are someone that's syndicating your listings, it's definitely worth spending just a couple of minutes going on to the listing sites like QuantumListing to make sure your listings are coming through. And David and I both try really hard to reach out to people when their images are not coming through. So that's just a really important thing to note. I do want to move on, though, to some of the events that we had over the last year that were exciting. And I want to kind of preface this with some of these were ideas that probably wouldn't have started without the unfortunate pandemic we've all been dealing with, but some of them are definitely here to stay because regardless of what's going on in the world, we want to be able to network with all of you and share ideas and talk. And even on this call, we have people on both sides of the country, and we're all here talking. So we want to keep that up no matter where we are with the pandemic. So one of the first ones that we introduced, it was QuantumListing office hours. So with this, the office hours, I just want to say, anytime you're on our site, you can schedule a demo very easily. You can see here, the top of every page has a link that says schedule a demo. It's very easy to do that, but we wanted to create a space for people to kind of explore specific features. So for example, we've had Judith on this call who has been asking about the network email blasts. So immediately when she started saying this, my first thought was, I want to do an office hour on the email blasts. And they're similar to the webinars, but what we feel is sometimes, people can be shy sometimes on camera or on recordings. We're thankful for those participating on this call who are not shy to speak up, but not everyone, feels comfortable speaking when something's being recorded or there's an audience. So the office hours are a really great time just to, think about it like if you were visiting one of your professors and you just wanted to get some one-on-one time or even, three-on-one time to learn more about a feature. That's what they're there for. And we're grateful for you guys because your questions help us shape the topics for these, and we're hoping to continue these office hours for 2021. Another notable event from 2020 was our rewards program. I actually think, Sue, I'm pretty sure that you participated in this, but basically the QuantumListing rewards program, we wanted to create incentives for people to use our features because we know that when you take advantage of some of these features, your profile is going to be better. That means that your profile is going to show up in Google searches more. That means that your listings are going to show up on Google searches more. So that starts with the search engine health. It goes into all these social features, many of which David touched upon today. But we're really just trying to create incentives so that people can use the array of features that we have. And, if we get the right feedback, we would love to do this again if people are interested. But it was, even if you don't want to do it, it's a fun guide to just look through what you can do to improve your profile, your listings, or any sort of searches that you're doing. I think the rewards program might have been my idea, and I don't know how many people actually participated, but regardless, I think it's a really great tool just to look through some of our features that can help you out. So that is the rewards program. The third thing right here, Realtors Commercial Alliance of Massachusetts. This was really fun. So basically what this was is a online marketing session specifically in one state. So David had the idea, I think a year and a half ago, or two, actually almost 2 years now, to do these haves and wants 2.0. So instead of people having to drive to a meeting and sit down for hours and share their haves and wants, why not do this online? So we started with, retail for sale haves and wants, industrial for sale haves and wants. And it was really cool because it would bring people throughout the country together to share their listings and network and make deals. This particular event that I'm referencing is a very specific one that we've been talking with other states about doing, which is taking the commercial alliance from that state and kind of working together to partner and host one of these events. So David and I love hosting these web meetings, and we do them so often that not that they're perfect, but we feel very comfortable being the host so that you guys can focus on what you do best, and you guys can focus on making the deals and talking with your colleagues. So David was the kind of the mic during these events, and would help the members talk amongst each other. And I will note, I would say probably half of the people who joined were Quantum Listing members, but not everybody was, and we're not prejudiced against non-members. So we just want to be a source for everybody to have a place to make deals. And excitingly, we were invited to do this again this year. So that's generally how we track success here, is if we were invited back, we probably think that it was a good thing to do, and we're excited. A fourth event that was notable, I can't even believe how it was last year. This feels like 2 years ago because of everything, but we had all of our partners on one webinar, and it was super fun. I want to say we had, I don't know, David, what do you think, 8 to 10 partners on?
Yeah.
And each of them talked for about 5 minutes about what they're doing to provide tools for the commercial real estate community. It was really awesome, and it was extremely fun. There was a lot of people involved, but I know there was a lot of networking that happened afterwards, and we love to hear that. So it was great to be a part of that and host this webinar. There's a few more, and it's, David, feel free to jump in on any of these here, because I can't take credit for most of these, but he is our founder, so you got to expect that he's going to be the one coming up with these great ideas. So virtual lunch, this was very cool. I don't know, do we still own the domain to virtuallunch.com?
Yep.
Okay, so if you, we'll send you the link, and it's attached here, I believe, but I'm weary to click on anything right now. I just want to stick on the blog so that we stay focused here. But so virtual lunch, I mean, Dave, again, feel free to jump in, but when the pandemic hit, we just felt like people needed a place to be able to just chat and connect with colleagues like you would normally be doing on a work day. And like I said, this is something that we started during the pandemic, but we hope to continue it. I think we actually have a screenshot of one of our virtual lunches. Maybe not here, but we did have some successful virtual lunches, and it was just a really fun way to just talk business and also just talk life and catch up with everybody. And we did note that if you're on the West Coast, virtual coffee is good too. So Sue, make sure to note that. David, do you want to talk about Let's Get Smart? Because I feel like that's just your territory.
Yeah, sure. So Let's Get Smart was something we had started several years ago at ICSC Recon in Las Vegas. ICSC is the International Council of Shopping Centers, and Recon is their big annual convention held at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I would take a booth at the convention each year, and the final day of the convention is always super, super slow. And you end up just talking to the people in your booth or the booths next door, because everybody who doesn't have a booth, for the most part, has left the show. They're using it as a travel day. or they're sleeping in because they've been in Las Vegas for a few days. So um, we started this speaker series for Wednesdays, and we one thing just about human nature, that if you ask somebody for a meeting on the last day of the convention, they're like, "I'm sorry, I can't do it, I'm leaving." If you ask them to be a speaker, they're like, "Sure, I can do that." So uh, little quirk of human psychology there. But so we started having these speakers, and people would talk about trends in retail, trends in technology, or in really just like interesting stuff. And we would record them, and we would have blog posts about them. So they were the gift that kept on giving, because the people who did show up, and we incentivized people to come, the stragglers that were left there, to come by offering them In-N-Out burgers. So they were a big hit, and so we had some really super interesting stuff. I learned a ton. Then that was the first time I learned about esports, and that they were going to become a thing in shopping centers, where people would create these little stadiums and have competitions, um, playing video games. And that's just one example. We had the outgoing chairman of ICSC speak one year about the impact of e-commerce on physical retail, and how the two could actually work hand in glove. So a lot of great stuff, and you can see the blog posts on our website about those. But because we didn't have Recon this year, we decided to do a virtual one, and it's more of a like an open mic discussion, where a lot of us who missed seeing each other got together, and we did. There was some sharing of ideas, but it was honestly mostly a social event. But it was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, and I will say that, which is ironic because it is 4:00, so we understand if you need to hop off. We'll have a few more minutes left just to continue on. But I think this was one of the only webinar where we ignored the 60-minute time frame, and we just said, let's just go for 90 minutes to 2 hours, because it was such a great discussion. David could not cut it off simply. And it was really, really fun. And I will say that a lot of the speakers that have been at the real Let's Get Smart from ICSC, they have actually come on these quantum listing webinars, maybe a year later, 2 years later, and presented on their topic of expertise, which is really cool. And we're going to be reaching out to a lot of them this year, as well as we continue to plan our 2021 calendar. The last event here was, it was a survey that we had sent out before our virtual Let's Get Smart series. And it was during the time of shutdowns and business closures. And we wanted to, because it was a retail discussion, we wanted to pull our audience to understand where people are at and what they're willing to do right now, so that we could try to inform people's decisions. And that was also super interesting. And again, we'll let you check that out, and I'm gonna copy and paste this link into the chat so that you guys can check it out as well. I'm gonna go back to the slide deck and just wrap up here, just to make sure everyone has our contact information and the pricing that we spoke about. This is Q&A, but I think we've had some great questions, and we really appreciate your participation. The pricing, again, this will be sent out in our webinar replay, so don't worry if you don't jot it all down now, but feel free to take a glance here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to speak up. Does anyone have any specific questions on pricing, or David, you want to jump in on anything?
No, I think open for questions. Okay.
Well, I think the most important thing is just to know that, in case you didn't already know, that membership is $89.99 per year. That's not per month, that's per year, for unlimited listings. Sometimes I have to repeat myself 3 times because people don't believe me that it's per year and that it's unlimited. So that is the fact. And a lot of the features spoken about today are included with the membership, and several are additional, but as you can see here, they're all extremely affordable. So we're happy to talk further with you. And on that note, this is our support and contact information. You know, we have a lot of ways that you can get in touch with us. Here's our support email, but if you want to speak to David or I directly, you can email both of us. It's just david@quantumlisting.com or julia@quantumlisting.com. And we also have this phone number, which is new from last year and should have been part of this presentation, but it's 844-QL1-LIST. So that's 844-751-5478. And, you know, that was fun to get that phone number. So I really should have added that for this presentation.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Julia, for all your help in preparing. And thanks for the great questions. And we hope you have a great rest of the week. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you, David, as well. Thanks for everything you did for this. You prepared a lot for this. So I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.